Distribution provided by Cloud Sigma, the cloud that adapts to you. Visit cloudsigma.com/thisweekin for a free $200 credit.
Today's episode of This Week in Startups is brought to you by MailChimp. Manage lists with up to 2,000 subscribers and send up to 12,000 emails per month for free with MailChimp. And by Squarespace. Use the promo code TWiST9 when signing up to save 10%.
Hey everybody, it's This Week in Startups. Today, Belfast versus Dublin in our startup competition. With me, Jason Nazar, entrepreneur and host and all-around great guy, will help me judge 6 great startups, 3 from Dublin, 3 from Belfast, and the winner will eventually get this cup after we do all the different cities. Stick with us. It's going to be fun.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. But funny how it feeds my people. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah. Money is the root of all evil. But funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
Hello, everybody. It's This Week in Startups. As you know, startups are not just limited to the United States. A lot of the best startups are coming from outside the United States right now, and the entrepreneurial activity in different cities and countries around the world is booming. Everybody wants to have their own Silicon Alley, Silicon Valley, Digital Coast, etc., and that's why Tyler's getting all these free trips around the world, is because he's explaining to them exactly how to do that, and there's nobody better to do that, actually, than Tyler. And so what we decided to do was we would have these meetups where people who are fans of the show, whether they're in South Africa or in Seoul or Tokyo, wherever, would get together, call in, and show us the startups in their community. We decided that was getting a little bit boring, and we decided there needs to be a little more drama and a way for people to sort of lift their game. So we've made this into a little bit of a competition, city versus city, Dublin versus Belfast today, and this is the Startup Cup, and it's the This Week in Startups International Meetup Cup. It's incredibly heavy and made out of pure gold, so it's probably worth about $800,000, as you can see. And today, no, it's not. It's like really made of incredibly light, cheap plastic. But this has been going great. We have 3 startups from each country. They go back and forth, and we're going to comment on how great the pitch was and how the pitch could have been better, because pitching your startup is a critical piece of being an entrepreneur. And then we're also going to look at the actual startup itself, and how good is the idea? How good is the execution? How far along they are? And to help me do that is Jason Nazar, serial entrepreneur, a good friend of mine, who's been at the launch conference in TechCrunch 50 3 times? 3 out of the 5 years.
Presenting 3 out of the 5 years, yeah.
I think you have the record now. There's been people who've done 2. Costcast did 2, Disconnect did 2, I believe. But the only person who's done 3. So you know a little bit about presenting an idea.
Yeah, and you helped us a lot along the way.
You've gotten good at it.
I got coached by you 3 times.
You did. You barely got coached the last time. You went a little off the reservation. You didn't take too much coaching advice, but you did okay. I mean, now you can sort of wing it.
Well, I took the advice. I just wasn't able to fly up to San Francisco the day that you needed me up there.
You didn't practice that much, though. You could have practiced a little bit more.
I could have, yes.
It's a little bit more. But every time you go on stage, it's like, out of the gate, you're just like an 8 or a 9 as a presenter. What do you think the key to being a good presenter is, now that you've done it so many times in front of so many people?
To speak to people about the things that they care about, and to talk to an audience of 500 people like you're having a beer with somebody.
So keep it casual.
Yes.
Keep it real, right? Like very authentic.
And talk to them about the things that they care about.
Right.
Like, for example, this trophy is actually filled with Guinness.
Yes.
So it's going to get sent to you filled with Guinness.
Everybody, exactly, is now, just playing right off all the stereotypes. Yes, you're going to get a case of Guinness. They don't need any Guinness over there. In Dublin, they have the Guinness factory. Or actually, I don't know if I think they turned the Guinness factory into a MIT for a while. It was like they converted it. Hey, thanks to our friends at Squarespace for supporting This Week in Startups. If you don't use Squarespace, gosh, how do I explain it? If you want to make a beautiful website and you don't want to have to hire a bunch of designers, you don't have to hire a bunch of tech people and spend $10,000 or $5,000. I've got a lot of family, friends, and business colleagues who go through this. They need a really professional-looking website They don't have the time or effort or money in some cases to hire a firm. These firms want hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then you have these sort of like individuals who want tens of thousands or thousands of dollars. And today with the technology, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to, right? Go to a website, pick a template, and make something gorgeous. Well, that's exactly what Squarespace does. They provide the most beautiful, professional-looking websites that you can imagine. I'll pull up a couple right here. And as you can see, these things work either on the web, or if you switch over to my iPad, you'll see it on my iPad, and it's just gorgeous. So that's the iPad, actually, and then go back to the website. Boom. So you can't tell the difference, right? It's just fitting perfectly either on my iPad or on my website. iPad, website. Website, gotcha. I gotcha. I got the control, guys. But anyway, gorgeous, beautiful designs, easy to use, and flawless. And look at it, I can just flip through these, and they just work. And that's what you want in a system like this. And with Squarespace 6, every site has its own automatically resized mobile version. That's critically important. How many times do you go to a website and you're like, oh my God, they didn't build the mobile version yet. They did the web version. Now you don't have to worry about that. Squarespace solves all that for you. And there's a lot of people who are going and they're building one website with one team, another website with another. They have 2 different CMSs. That's just garbage and crazy. You just need to have one site powered by one elegant, simple tool, and that service is Squarespace. And now, because they have so many customers, they can charge a really affordable price for it. It's just like tens of dollars a month. And go ahead, and if you buy the yearly or bi-yearly plan, you get 20% off. And TWiST listeners, if they use the coupon code TWIST9, TWIST, and the number 9, will get 10% off, and you'll get a free domain name. So it's super affordable and beautiful and easy to use. And it's like, I don't have technical people working sometimes at companies or small startups, and I need them to be able to do their website without burning a lot of cash. And that's what Squarespace is about, a gorgeous website without burning a ton of cash on a bunch of flaky designers or technical people who may never respond to your emails or take months to get back to you. Squarespace is elegant and awesome. Go ahead and thank them on your Twitter account. Now that we get that out of the way, let's go to... where should we go first? Who is my host in Belfast? Is Belfast there? Is Belfast on the line? Hey, wow, it's loud there. All right, who are you?
Hi, I'm Diane Robertson from Equity here in Belfast. Welcome to the Northern Ireland Science Park in the heart of the Titanic district here in Belfast.
How long has the tech startup scene been brewing over there? Do you have a lot of startups, or is it very new?
I suppose we're a little bit behind Dublin in that way, but certainly from our point of view, we've been going about 10, 15 years in startups.
And a lot of tech companies are basing themselves in Ireland. Why is that? Is it because of taxes? Is it because of tax benefits, or English-speaking country, highly educated? What are the reasons?
All of the above, I think. Certainly from our perspective, people are basing themselves here in Belfast because we've got a great educated workforce. We're hard workers, we've got good tech skills, and more than anything else, we've got a great personality and we're great people.
Awesome. And obviously people are very excited. Hey, and you're feeling confident today about your startups?
Oh, we are so confident. Actually, I know Rema really well in Dublin. I probably know all of those guys sitting in that room. But I tell you what, they've got a battle on their hands tonight. We've got 3 great startups from Belfast.
Right, so you're predicting a win for Belfast?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, there you have it. Let's go to Dublin. Dublin, are you on the line? Okay.
Yeah, hi, Jason.
Wow. People are excited in Dublin. Very loud, very loud. Okay, it's Rommel, right? And so you have 3 startups there, and people are pretty excited?
Yeah, very, very excited. We have a great selection here.
Awesome. And what do you think your chances of, you just heard that Belfast is guaranteeing a win. What do you think your chances are versus the strong competition up north?
Well, it's highly unlikely Belfast could beat Dublin.
Wow. All right, there you have it. It's going to be quite an episode. People are predicting winning. Well, we had a coin toss and Dublin won, so give us our first company. Is it, I believe it's GetHealth, right?
Yes, we have GetHealth, Liam.
Okay, now they're coming up, and I think they know the rules.
Yeah.
You guys have a minute, and I'll pull up your website while you're talking and zoom into stuff.
Great. So I'm the CEO here at GetHealth, and we're all about trying to help people live healthier lifestyles. And our beta users describe us as the Foursquare for health, helping or allowing people to check into the healthy things that they do every day. So the problem is that the expenditure in healthcare is just rising, and people who are engaged in kind of health-related stuff is just decreasing. So lifestyle-related diseases represent 75% of the total expenditure in the US. So GetHealth, we're available on iPhone, on Android, and on the web. And the idea is you check into move, munch, and mind. Move being your physical activity, munch being your diet, and mind being your mental health. And you earn points for checking into having pieces of fruit or going for a run, and you use these points to motivate your friends. So how do we make money? Well, our consumer-facing model is launching at the start of next year, and at the moment we're targeting large organizations. And the chunk of the pie is worth 5.1 billion, which is specifically trying to improve engagement and trying to measure those return on investment metrics. So with 500 million smartphone users set to be using health apps by 2015, GetHealth wants to help you touch down and home run to a healthier and better lifestyle. Thanks very much.
All right, there you have it. Strong start, very strong start. And I was just looking at the app. Jason Nazar, what did you think?
Liam, right?
It was Liam, yes.
First off, I thought you did a great job overall. You kept it short and to the point. You explained what the product was. You talked about what the benefits were. And you started to touch on how you made money. You lost me a little bit there because you said how going to make money. I got interested. And then you started talking about this big market. But overall, I would say a solid B+ for the pitch. Really good job.
Yeah, I would say the pitch was very solid. We understand what you do. You score points. You check in. And you play it with your friends. It's like Foursquare. You used some good analogies. You didn't have an actual example of efficacy. That's something you could have added. That probably would have helped us get it to an A, or make it personal, or even a little bit scary. This percentage of people are overweight. So this sort of idea of making a really convincing argument, building an argument in your pitch, didn't exist in your pitch. You had a what I would call a really serviceable, high-energy pitch, which is great. I think that's why you gave it a B+.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the thing that you missed, and you actually I wouldn't spend as much time even worrying about how to make money. It's one sentence. You didn't tell us what the killer feature was. So I know that I can check in about I'm exercising, I'm eating, but why do I want to do that? Why is it going to be socially viral? Why are my friends going to care to see what I'm doing? What social currency will there be in it? And if you even talk about one or two of those killer features, it's going to make your presentation that much more killer.
Yeah. Solid examples always help. And if you can make the example real, as in we have somebody who's in the beta test who was 30 pounds overweight, and they've been struggling with that 30 pounds for a decade. They used this. They got their family and friends to support them, and they got a lot of kudos. And they said the number one reason they were able to lose the 10 pounds this time, or the 30 pounds this time, and they weren't previously, was because of the social support that was inherent in the app.
That's how I know you've been watching the political conventions. How every presidential candidate's like, meet my friend Bob, who runs the small business in Kansas, Missouri.
They make it real. I mean, it's a good point. They in their demos of demoing what's going on in America, they're trying to make it real. They're trying to put a human face on it. But looking at the website, a great name, a great logo, or solid logo, and really a good-looking app. So kudos across the board. This is pretty high-level execution.
I think you and I should both download the app and use it, don't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We should sit there and talk about all the apples and calorie eating. Well, you've lost a ton of weight. You look great.
And you're running. You're tweeting about it.
I'm getting out there. I've been using Nike Plus. I've been using Runkeeper. I got Fitbit. I got everything. What I don't have is the willpower to not eat cannolis. What do you think of the idea? I mean, obviously, we've seen Runkeeper and Nike Plus. We're just talking about it. This sort of puts everything together, including food. What are your thoughts on a product like this?
Liam, I like the general direction you're going in. I think it's a great space. Again, I think it's going to be about that killer feature. What is it when you log onto the app the first time that's just different or better than anything else that helps you keep track of it? Is it that there's, a picture of 3 girls that are saying, we're waiting for you to reach your health goals? Is it that, when you hit a certain number, is it that there's a thermometer and that when you reach a certain number of points, you're battling against your friends, and whoever reaches their health goal first, there's some kind of prize or award. If you get that feature down, it's going to take it from an interesting idea to a really engaging product.
Yeah, the killer feature. So I gave it a pitch of 7.5, and I'm going to give the idea an 8, or in the idea and the execution here an 8 so far. I'll put you down for an 8 for the pitch, I guess, if you give it a B.
Yeah, so 8. I said B+. Why don't we say pitch 8.5?
Okay, 8.5.
And I'll say idea 7.5 right now.
Okay, good. Okay, so these are all around very high scores, Liam. Very well done. Let's hear it for Liam. All right, we call that a strong start. That is a strong start. Let's go to Dublin and let's take Adoreboard. Adoreboard.
So here's the problem. Companies across the world spend billions of dollars on marketing their reputation online. Yet there's no one single metric to understand the impact of that on customers. Hi, my name is Chris Johnston, founder of Adoreboard. And Adoreboard allows you to analyze in real time specific emotions that are being expressed by your customers. My background is in PR and marketing, and one of the biggest problems that marketeers face is trying to validate the investment in marketing. So if I was to ask you, what do I get if I spend $1 in marketing, does that return a $2 investment? So Adoreboard monitors in real time and predicts specific emotions that are going to be expressed about your customer specific to your brand. A use case is we can predict interest levels or controversy levels. If you're a computer manufacturer and you're wanting to launch your notebook with a certain celebrity, we can give you an interest level on a certain endorsement. We can also, through our new standard called the Adore score, tell you whether you're adored or floored, whether you're being loved by your customers or hated, and actually gives you metrics and ways to engage with your customers. So in summary, Adoreboard helps to increase customer love. We do pre-analysis so that you can test before you invest. Thank you.
Okay, well done. Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind when you see something like this is a company here in the United States called? That gives a score?
Your Twitter's Clout, right?
Yeah, your Clout, right. So immediately I think of Clout for the Adore score, but you're doing sentiment analysis, correct?
So we're doing pre-analysis, which is probably the killer app. So the killer app that you're talking about, we actually allow you to try to get a sense of how the information will be spread online before you put it out, and also give you a metric around how people will find your marketing message interesting or controversial.
So you will take my message, you'll take my specific tweet and then tell me how that tweet will be received?
Yeah, so we can take like marketing materials like press releases and run it through our metrics and be able to give you an idea of how that will play out online. And then you use the Adoreboard to actually see how those predictions play out. So you can get a real-time metric, the Adore score, as to how your brand is performing.
So
and you can identify.
So Chris, you did a good job, and you've got a meaty tech product there to explain. What I would say is you just explained better your pitch in the answer to Jason's question now than what you did originally the first time.
Yeah.
And
and why is that? Because he was more specific this time?
Yeah.
He gave better examples?
I think you explained it better because your question, what was on my mind, I still didn't really understand the context. I didn't know, Chris, what it's in relation to. Is it a press release? Is it a tweet? You talked in enough generalities that even while I was looking at the website, I really didn't have any kind of mental frame of mind to know what it was exactly you're doing. And really, you just explained much more succinctly and to the point in answering Jason's question than in the pitch what it is.
Like using a press release and seeing how that press release, that was a better example.
Yeah.
But now, with these kind of services, I've been hearing about sentiment analysis for a decade. And it doesn't seem like anybody has figured out the killer application of it.
No.
And I just saw one this past week of looking at coverage of the election here in the United States, and is the story more biased one way or the other? Is this AP story more liberal or more conservative in the story itself. I have no idea how you tell that from an actual story. And so I don't know if I buy this, but I do like your application better, which is for marketers, you would care to know how your tweets are going to be perceived or not. And it's almost like a first line of defense for a social media person that right as they're tweeting in Hootsuite, it says, by the way, you use the word blank in your language, and it could be construed as, this is a sort of negative tweet. Here's a way to say it in a more positive tone, or this felt a little bit cynical. Here's some possible language to make it less cynical. Does your software do that?
Yeah, and the other thing, Jason, is, before you invest in your celebrity endorsement, what you can do, say I'm Nokia and want to launch my new smartphone. Do I use Usain Bolt or someone else? And what we can do is do pre-analysis, which assigns the Adore score to Usain Bolt, and then actually sees what the impact of that endorsement would be on your actual Adore score, so how you would actually be perceived by the users. And then you can monitor that and see how it plays out.
So I'll jump.
A fascinating company. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll jump to the scores.
Yeah.
So, first off, Chris, I can actually tell by the way you're presenting, you really know the subject matter inside and out. Because as Jason's asking questions, you're on it like money. And I think, first off, I think this is a great idea in a big space, and somebody's going to make a lot of money. And if you keep going at it, I think you're going to be really successful. I'm going to give the idea 7.5, only because I didn't totally get it. I'm going to give your presentation a 7. By the way,
look at this. I gave it the exact score.
Jason likes copying what I do.
Exactly.
So
I'm very much monitoring you.
Jason and I are of one mind.
Yes.
But
exactly.
I think you may have a really big idea, but when you talk to people, and especially quick 1-minute pitches, make sure they really understand what it is your idea is. And I did it at first. And second, just a little bit more enthusiasm, energy. You don't need to be jumping around, but put a smile on your face just like you did there at the end. Have some passion, have some excitement, because when you ask folks like JCal for a check for your business, they're going to want to feel that your excitement and passion for your business. And I know you got it. I can see it in your face right now.
Yeah, you definitely have that passion for it and the knowledge. And this is, again, we're back to a really interesting idea, but the presentation of it was weak. It wasn't bad, but it could have been a lot stronger. And I think examples of the press release, the tweet, and a specific press release. So we ran a press release from BP Oil through this, and we realized that the press release seemed very conservative, or it seemed very cavalier, whatever it was. And really, BP needs to make their press releases seem more sincere. And we flagged the last 15 press releases from BP before and after the oil spill, and we found that actually they were being much more sincere and emotionally human post that, so they probably got some good PR advice, but we saw a definite switch in that. And then the second I brought up BP Oil, everybody started remembering the disaster of PR that was BP Oil, right, the spill? Mm-hmm. And so what you're doing is you're hijacking the energy from BP Oil to get people to care about Adoreboard. And all that energy then and our focus in the room is going to be on you and this information. So I gave it the same scores, exact scores as Nazar, which is the presentation's a 7. Better examples would add a point immediately, let alone some exact research. And the idea, yeah, it's a 7.5. You have a long uphill battle because there's nobody really that's made a successful commercial product that I'm aware of in this space. Is there, Chris, a successful commercial product in the space?
On the pre-analysis, no.
Yeah. So I think that what that means is...
It's like the precogs from Minority Report.
It is exactly like precogs from Minority Report. What that means is you might be onto something great, and better to be pursuing an idea that has a majority failure case than as an entrepreneur than pursuing an idea that has a majority success chance. Why? If it's more difficult and it's harder and there's a greater chance of failure, there's more glory at the end if you do actually succeed. So kudos to you for picking a big, juicy, hard idea. Let's hear it for Chris in Belfast from Adoreboard. This is tough. You know, I have to say, the GetHealth idea, we've seen that idea before. So it's not as big of an idea, let's say, or as bold of an idea. But it was better executed, right? Mm-hmm. But then you see this idea and you're like, that's a bigger idea and, you know, juicier technical problem. So
I agree.
God, it's hard to say, but if you could be the if I put a gun to your head and said, you got to be the CEO of one of these companies, 3, 2, 1.
Well, I think they're both great CEOs of their own company. But if you ask me who I was,
gun to head, 3,
gun
2?
to the head, angel investing, GetHealth, because at this
you think
moment,
it's a better
from
return.
the one moment I saw, I have a bit more confidence of knowing what they're going to do to execute and who their customer is and how they grow that business.
Right. What about my test, which is the next 7 years of your life, you have to pick one to be the CEO of? 3, 2, 1.
I would say GetHealth only because I'm focused on health right now.
It's more
Right.
passion to you.
Yeah.
Right. Interesting. I would probably say GetHealth too, but I would be more fascinated with Adoreboard.
I'd be more. I'm more interested to see if Adoreboard can deliver on their value proposition than GetHealth, because we know lots of people are delivering on, hey, here, interesting apps or ways to keep up your health. I don't think anyone has developed a really great application or technology platform to say, as you put information out about your business, how will people receive and respond to that information?
Which is really interesting. Yeah. It's two awesome ideas. Really strong start. And hey, if you want to have a really strong start for your business, you're going to want to get MailChimp. MailChimp. It's the email service I use for all my companies. And I am lucky enough with the This Week in Startups program and 3 years of doing this and almost 286 episodes. Wow, 14 to 300. That we've had MailChimp as a sponsor since, almost the beginning. What a great company. If you're sending email, it's critical that you have a great provider like MailChimp, and 2,000 subscribers and 12,000 emails a month are free. And you pay as you go. There's no big commitment or any kind of contract, or you don't have to buy servers. And they're constantly adding templates and other services to the product. And because they're so profitable and such a great company, I know it's a great profitable company because I tried to invest in it for the last 3 years, and they don't need my money, or anybody's for that matter. But because they're so profitable, they're investing in this product and lowering the price and keeping the prices. The value is ridiculous. What this used to cost just 5 years ago was 10 times the amount for really a lot less product. And so this is an industry-leading company. Mobile-friendly email templates are now
we're paying customers of them also, by the way.
You are too.
Yeah, I mean we have an entire email system we built out over 2-3 years, but we still use them for lots of use cases that they're more effective than what we do.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And the product is easy to use. You can put
fantastic. Yeah.
Anybody who can use Microsoft Office, let's say, can use MailChimp.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the great things about it. That's like one of my benchmarks.
Plus all the tracking. I mean, you know exactly how many emails are getting delivered, clicked on.
Opened, clicks. That's all critical. And then they can craft the next message better. Because they're like, and you can A/B test. That's a really interesting feature. You can be like, here's 2 different subject lines. And then based upon, let's say you have 10,000 emails. You send 100 emails to one, 100 emails to another headline. Then it automatically picks which headline got more opens and then sends the other 9,800 emails to that. So you don't even have to do an A/B test. You're just like, well, these are the 3 or 4 headlines I think will work. Send it, and then it dynamically sends it to them. It's sick. It's amazing the features they keep putting in MailChimp. Every time I open it, I'm like, wow, there's something new and fun and easy to use. Drag and drop file uploading is something that we really like as well at the launch ticker. And they're just great team over there and a world-class product. The design is amazing. Aaron is a great designer over there. The user interface, designing with emotion. Really, if you're building a software as a service product, you're going to want to study what MailChimp has done, let alone using them as a product. If you're just a startup, you have to look at what they've done as a startup and really respect it. So thanks to @MailChimp for sponsoring the show. Let's go back to Dublin. Dublin, are you there? All right, next up is Soundwave, and from Soundwave is Brendan. Brendan, you there?
How you doing, guys? Brendan from Soundwave here.
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
3, 2, go.
So it's easiest to introduce Soundwave by quickly examining what products have come before us. We've seen Facebook check-in with I'm here. We've seen Twitter with I'm here and this is what I'm saying. We've seen Instagram with I'm here and this is what I'm seeing. And now we have Soundwave with I'm here and this is what I'm listening to. In one sentence, at Soundwave, we're tracking what songs people are listening to on their mobile and where in real time. For users, it's hyperlocal music discovery. Once downloaded, every time a user plays a song through their regular app, our app in the background extracts the song information, their location, and the time they played the song before pinging it to our database. So users can see in real time what songs their friends are listening to. They can see what their favorite celebrities and sports stars are rocking out to, or what the most listened to hip-hop song was today in Brooklyn, New York, in their office on the street they're currently walking down. We've gotten really good feedback so far. We just graduated first out of our accelerator program called the NDRC Launchpad. We're closing legals on a large funding round with private investors from the States and from Ireland. And tomorrow we're going to TechCrunch to disrupt. So that's us.
Awesome. Very well done. It's a really good idea. I was a little bit concerned when you started. And then when you said, like, what's the hip-hop song playing in Brooklyn right now, the most popular, I was like, I'm actually kind of interested in what that is. And I want to go hit the play key. Nazar, what do you think?
I like it a lot. And great presentation. What's the thought? I'm just curious. What's the thought behind the music that people are listening to in your area? I mean, if let's say you get 1,000 people using it in a geographic area, they're all going to have such different musical tastes probably. So, what's the value to the user of knowing what that song is?
Sure. So it's very much an egocentric app. So I think people have an inherent curiosity just to see what's happening around them and what people around them are listening to. And I think music is just kind of really born from a location. So you see certain types of music being created in different locations. It's really interesting, I think, for people to see what songs are trending and where this music is coming from. So I think there's a very strong location element to what we're doing.
What did you think? What did you give the pitch, or what did you give the idea?
The pitch, the pitch, somewhere between an 8.5 and 9. You did a great job. First off, you explained what your product is, so I got it right away. And whatever visuals were on the screen, it was really clear and easy. So that's the biggest thing. I know what your product is, and whether I have questions of, whether I would use it with other people, I immediately know what it is. I can tell you're a music lover, you like it. You do this a lot with your hands, which I'm not sure if that's some special code or you're trying to have sex with one of the pretty girls in the background there. But the pitch was great. I'm curious now to try the app because I want to see what stuff comes up. And I love the idea of, I was curious to see, what maybe is going to be different that you've got than Spotify with my friends, how I could see their playlist. And if you could have gone into that a little bit more, that would have been cool for me too.
Yeah, clearly. And so the idea?
The idea I'm going to give an 8. The pitch I'm going to give an 8.5.
All right. I gave the pitch an 8, and I gave the idea an 8. I think that you're onto something, and I think people really want to do data discovery, surfacing stuff. I think right now you're sort of caught in the feature, you're a neat feature that somebody else should have thought of, and you see Path is adding what you're listening to now, and so it's going to be up to you to take this really clever feature that you got to first and expand it and have a real business wrapped around. The same way Nazar took, just PDF. Anybody could put a PDF on the web, and there were, a dozen startups doing Docstoc and Scribd-like functionality, but he was the first to do a subscription for documents for a low price. And you $20 a month, you get unlimited documents. That was a disruptive thing to do. So really, where you take this idea next is going to be the key. Can you use this as a lever point to some other local transaction, like buying tickets for a show or
one of the
dating, maybe dating?
Yeah, well, one of the things I would definitely recommend in the first phase, and the dating is a cool concept, I think that's a little farther out, is I would have a station concept. Because I think, and it's going to require some critical mass, but the thing that's going to get hung up really is if J. Cal's listening to Jay-Z and I'm listening to Frank Sinatra, there's just too much disconnect over in a geographical area what music people could be listening to, right? But if you have stations, hip-hop station, heavy metal, oldies, and then within those categories, you're seeing what song is trending, then I think it's something that's really interesting because now what you've created is crowdsourced radio, right?
Yeah.
Really organic from the ground up.
Yeah, it's this is 11209 radio. This is
it's
90232 radio.
And I think that's pretty cool, and I think that's where the ego aspect will definitely come into play. And you could see people doing something like, hey, tweet out this song. I want it to hit the top of the Los Angeles playlist, right now.
Or Crenshaw or Culver City or whatever it is. How many people are using it right now? How many people in the beta?
So we're currently pre-launch. We've got about 500 people registered waiting for the beta, but we're going to do a big kind of PR whiz over in TechCrunch in San Francisco tomorrow, hopefully.
And you don't provide the music, right? It's just the music that's on your iPhone or on your phone that's streaming from there. It's no access to the music.
Yeah, so I mean, the whole purpose is that you'll discover new music. So you can click into a song, you get the preview, you can look at the embedded video.
Got it.
You can then also purchase
Got
that
it.
song. It's just an interesting point you made about the stations. We actually have a feature called Sound Circles that pretty much exactly does that. So you can filter all this large quantity of information and just filter by a particular genre. So you could see, what's the most listened to hip hop song, like at a particular location.
What's the most listened to hip hop song in Ireland right now?
God, no idea.
All right, I'm giving the pitch a 5. No, never mind.
Yeah, well, this is where, again, getting into data is always, the more data you can get into, the more examples you can, the better. But a really compelling idea. I'm pretty impressed. This is a very strong group of companies. Let's hear it for Brendan from Soundwave.
Thanks, guys.
And he'll be at Disrupt tomorrow, I'm guessing in the demo pit. Because I think he would get kicked out if he was actually on stage. So let's go to Belfast for Yoobikit. Yoobikit? I may have gotten that right. And Richard. Richard, are you there?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Richard, how you doing?
I'm good. So you are a business in an average town, and you know you need to be everywhere your customers are. But the problem in the online world is there's so many ways to do that. Of course, you know you need to be on the web. You also know that you need to be readable on all the mobile and tablet devices, as you've already mentioned. You know the apps are also important. And email would be good, and text message would be good as well. But the problem you have is that you don't have the time or ability to do all of those things. What if you could do everything using just one kit? I'm Richard Johnston, and Yoobikit does that for businesses and organizations. It puts you on an app on iPhone, Android, and Windows. It puts you on the web, and it's readable in mobile and tablet devices. It also pushes emails and text the same information, but all from one kit. I'm delighted to say that we have customers worldwide, from Australia to the UK to the US. We have branded versions of our technology called School App Kit, and we're ready to take this to the world. Think Squarespace, MailChimp, an app kit, and a text messaging service, all in one. That's the vision. Thanks.
Okay. So, templated iPhone apps, and I guess it's an actual native app, or is it an HTML5 wrapped app?
So it does it all. So, for example, our School App Kit is an iPhone app, an Android, and a Windows coming soon, and it also does HTML versions of it as well. So it does it all, basically.
Got it. So app in a box, I guess. I mean, we've seen Cabana, which seemed pretty technical. Mobile Roadie, which had templates but didn't seem to go...
Well, that's just to create an app.
That's just to create an app. And then this is sort of a whole content management system, but really app first for your club, for your team, for your school, for your business. What do you think?
Yeah. So on the presentation, Richard, I think you nailed it. Again, you explained the product. I got what it is. The visuals around it helped out a lot. I loved your energy, enthusiasm, talking about getting customers. I think you hit on each of the key points there. On the idea side, and we have one of the most visited products online for small businesses. I would caution you that more sometimes isn't more, meaning taking 5 different things that other people do really well, like MailChimp and building a website for you and sending text messages and putting it all in one, if done perfectly well, can be a breakthrough, or it can just be something that ends up being a little bit of a mishmash. And I can't tell you, obviously I haven't used your product, where it falls, but it's a path you've got to be careful of. And I think you might have a hard time competing with someone, like your sponsors that create websites and send out email. And I would just want to know the use case of really what kind of business is this for? Is this for a one-person business that just wants something to get up in a day? Because that's interesting. But if you're talking about a business with 15 people and they've been around a while and they have a website, I think you're going to have a hard time getting adoption of the product.
It's going to be hard because there are some businesses that are starting to invest in one publishing system, whether they have a Squarespace blog or they have WordPress or whatever it is, or they did a homegrown one. They hired some developer to just make some raw HTML. And now to come in and say, oh, rip all that out and now start over and do a website and you do your mobile, it's maybe a big task.
It is. And the biggest thing I can tell you is, building a consumer web application that really hits and takes off is like lightning in a bottle. We hear these different stories of it and we use these apps, so we think it's so commonplace, but it's a 1 in 10,000 thing. And even, Docstoc and Mahalo, when it was at traffic peak, it wasn't like people were typing in directly, right? It was search traffic. And so what happens is there's typically some kind of killer feature that people just love and adopt and use for a while, and either a company's able to build on that or not. And what I think first time and early on entrepreneurs do is they say, well, if I take this feature from here and that feature from there and this from here and I put it together, then more equals more. But sometimes what happens in that process is you miss that killer feature. And I don't know for sure if that's what's happened in your case, but I would just caution you of that. Because I don't know if what's going to break you out is that you have these 5 different things, or that you do one of those things just really easily and better than anybody else.
Yeah, I'm looking at it saying, hey, I may want to make an app for my school, but being on the board of a school in Brooklyn, there are people who make school management systems that include the web.
Yes.
And so now the school, Bay Ridge Prep, that I'm involved with, they have a school management system that does their website. You can log in, you can check teacher reports, you can do attendance and all that other stuff. Now, where does this fit for them? This is just like an informational app? No, they're going to want a full-blown app where people can log in and check their kids, do some really good utility, like check their kids' attendance or their test scores or review their report card. And so leaning in and doing one vertical or one function right is probably a good idea, because we see sports here, and then we see, oh, there's a sports template and there's a school template, but there's been 3 or 4 companies just to manage your sports team, right? And so you might be a little spread thin here, business, sports, and school.
My guess too is that this is a business, this is an application you're building. I think you'll have more success not by giving it away for free. And trust me on this. Pick one specific kind of customer, like Jason was saying, a vertical, and take the app deeper and build features around it, and then just start charging for it right away. And I'm pretty sure that you will have more success with that strategy than if you try to make it uniformly for every kind of small business and give it away for free. Because getting that kind of adoption you want, which is like those first 1 million engaged users, is really going to be hard. And you could build a business where you're making $20,000, $40,000, $100,000 a month much faster than you realize, and then from there turn it into anything that you want it to be. So I'll do the rating to start off.
Yeah, let's do the ratings. Yeah.
I'm going to give the pitch an 8.5. You did a great job with the pitch. I'm going to give the idea 7, really for the reasons that I said, which is I got some concerns about more in this case, not necessarily being more. But I'm looking forward to you proving me wrong and emailing me, Jason at Docstoc, in 6 months ago, and be like, hey, you were a total dumbass douche, and this thing's being used by a ton of people, and you should be using it too.
I think douche might get you in the swear.
I don't
douche
think so.
May have got you in the swear.
No, because you need it for
You're using like a clinical, in a clinical way.
Yes, as if.
All right, fine. Okay, that's enough said. I gave it an 8 on the pitch. I thought the pitch was solid. And really today I have to say I'm pretty impressed. Everybody had a solid pitch, but I would say nobody's had a breakout pitch where you just felt like, oh my God, I have to invest in that company.
I haven't seen the Michelle Obama of pitches yet.
No Michelle Obama yet, and no Mint yet. Like really just killer, use case. But I gave the business slightly. So I was a little bit lower than you, a half point lower than you on the pitch, but I gave it plus half a point on the product, because I do think that this product's needed. If you follow the advice of leaning into a vertical, forcing people to pay for it means you will have to live up to the expectations of at least the dozen people who give you $100 a month.
Yes.
Or $500 a year, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And at least you'll be starting with people with money. If you charge $1,000 a year for your school.
My guess is this is a $29 to $49 product a month for a business to start.
Yeah, and I think if you're doing your schools, I would just charge them $600 a year for their app, $800, $895 a year. Because if you're a school and you've got over 100 students, $9 a student is $900, and that makes sense. And if you recruit one student for a school that has pay, Yeah, and if he does get a ton of people on the free product, it really doesn't mean anything. What does it mean? They're not going to be Foursquare or Instagram numbers, right, in this case?
Well, there was a really interesting post that I read recently talking about really the scale you need to get to make freemium work. And
it's tens of millions.
I think we're being flagged for a point, right?
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
No, it's just. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just to say that our school product is free for the schools, but the parents actually pay for downloads and there are upgrade paths, and we have schools paying, about $1,500.
Oh wow.
$750 per year for it. So,
good.
Free is kind of an entry point to get them in, but then they are actually paying, and parents are always paying. So it's
great.
Not free totally.
So you have schools. What do you mean you have schools paying and then parents paying? I'm not sure I understand.
So that there's actually a number of business models. So there is a free product, school app kit, on the store, which is free for schools to put themselves on and use immediately. But parents have a download cost to get the app. So the actual end users, the parents and the school community, pay for the app, so money to us for the app. And then if the schools want to upgrade to a website and other aspects, then they pay extra for that. But there is a model that is free for small schools. You see what I mean?
Yeah, yep. Richard, if you're getting schools to pay for you right now, go in that direction hard and fast. Get rid of all these, stop defocusing. That's a huge deal. If you've got customers that are paying you right now for your product, go deeper there, and I promise you're going to have a lot of success. There's no badge of honor for having multiple business models when you start. Focus on the one that you're seeing success and go hard and fast in that area. And you're going to be, Jason and I are going to be reading about you in Forbes and Fortune in a year from now and be like, damn, that guy way past us.
Yeah. Okay. Well done. Let's hear it for Richard from Belfast. Okay, we're almost on time. Let's go back to Dublin, and we have Riffstation. Dublin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Jason.
Okay, is that you, Dan? Okay, Dan, 3, 2, go.
Okay, yeah, 3, 2, go. Everyone can hear me, yeah?
Yep.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, my name is Dan, and I'm the CEO of Riffstation, the app that takes you from Guitar Zero to Guitar Hero. Everybody wants to be a rock star, right? How do you go from playing 3 chords at the end of your bed, getting 3 groupies in your bed after a sold-out show? Well, guitar tutors are not cool, and lessons are expensive. You just want to rock with the songs you love, right? Well, now you can with Riffstation. It's Guitar Hero for real. Load any MP3, and Riffstation automatically tells you when and how to play each chord synced with the original music. And there's more. You can slow down that tricky Hendrix riff, or you can isolate that awesome Slash solo. And when you've mastered it, you can join the band. So beginner or pro, Riffstation's got something awesome for you. Our business model is simple. It's a one-time digital download, and the cost is $39.99. Since we launched in March, we've had 10,000 downloads. But that's just Windows alone. Our Mac version comes out later this month, and mobile apps come out next year. So that's going to keep 50 million guitar players with something to look forward to. We plan to take this way beyond guitar and bring Riffstation to other instruments too. So keep checking us out, and check us out at riffstation.com.
Awesome. Well, looking at the product, it's a pretty tight product. What did you think?
I loved it. If what you're saying is that, so I'm just gonna ask one question. You can upload any song and it's automatically gonna pull the riff and the chords right there for you. What format do you need to upload the song in? Just any MP3?
It's an app for Mac and Windows at the moment. So you just load in a song from your iTunes collection or from your Windows Media Player collection, and it automatically analyzes the song, figures out the chords, and shows you all the chord diagrams synced with the original music.
All right.
How to play the chords and how to play the chords.
I love that. I don't even play the guitar, but I'm going to go buy a guitar and then get your app.
Yeah.
And I'm going to teach myself how to play Hey Jude and Serenade
How accurate
Jacob.
is it, though? Is it just looking at...
They'll figure out the accuracy. Come on.
No, what I'm trying to get at is
it
if I put it... well, how are you figuring out the chords? Are you saying, I know that was Hey Jude from the signature of the digital audio file, and you looked up in a database the chords? Or is it in real time saying that was a G chord, that was a C chord?
It's real time, so there's no databases. We don't need anything. This can be your friend's demo. It can be something from a long lost archive. This is all audio signal processing, which is our area of expertise.
It's really
can analyze the song and figure out what the chords should be.
It's a pretty big deal because to clear the rights to songs is
Yes.
incredibly expensive and time consuming.
Yes.
And so this is just a workaround, which is like, here's software that will analyze songs. Wink, wink. If you
Yeah.
put in all along the watchtower.
Well, the interesting thing is, you know, there's a copyright in somebody's music. So you can't just take the sheet music of a song and put it out there. But I think if you're just doing the
Software.
basic, well, it's not software, but I think if you're just
No, if you're just doing the basic chords, you still have
chord
to.
progression.
No, chord progression, you still have to. I mean, I've been in the bid list with Mahalo. We had to do deals with the music industry.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that's my question then to figure out is, are there any copyright implications if you're showing the chord progressions of all these songs?
No, there aren't as far as we're aware, because the issue is we don't promote any particular artist's music. We don't associate with a particular artist. It's just software. So it's the equivalent of taking Adobe Premiere and loading in Star Wars and doing your own edit. So provided that we don't publish the music anywhere and it's just an instantaneous visualization for the user at home, well, then there hasn't been any publishing of the music.
I think you're in a gray area, but if I were you, that's a great gray area to play in and just keep
Well, it's a
going
gray
further.
area the way YouTube is. It's like YouTube's not responsible for you uploading a copyrighted piece of material. You are. So while YouTube did not get shut down, it did incur a lot of legal bills as the music industry and other people, television, fought it. So it's possible that people could send a cease and desist, but I don't think they'd actually win because it is just software. Just like if you load it in, because you could do this right now with Pro Tools. You can load it into Pro Tools and try to figure out the chords, and I bet you people do that, but it takes a level of sophistication that would be greater.
What do you think about the idea?
I give the idea a 10, and I give the pitch a 9. I mean, I think it's the best thing we've seen. I think it's brilliant. You know, we've done a lot of learn guitar stuff here at Mahalo and teaching songs, and we've had to clear rights, and, you know, people learning from video, and we know people love to do this kind of practice where they can slow stuff down. And I play guitar, not well, but, you know, I have a guitar, and I would want to use it, and I would want to pay for it. And for $50, I don't think people are going to be too price sensitive because buying sheet music all day long is much more expensive. So I loved it. What are your scores?
I'm giving you a 9 and a 9. I thought it was a good presentation. I understood everything about it. Solid all the way around. I like the idea a lot. I've played the piano since I was 7. You get it done for the piano, and I'll be your customer number 1 there.
Very well done.
Come on, guys.
Wow, we're coming to a strong finish here. Let's go back to Belfast and keep the train moving. And we have Jonathan in Belfast. Are you ready? All right. And you know, I have to say, all these folks have great websites, and they're all doing like Vimeo videos explaining their product. It's a pretty tight situation. Go ahead.
Jonathan, take a step back, because right now all we're seeing is your mouth.
Yeah. There you go. Now we can see you.
Let me tell you a story about you. It's been a busy Friday up and along before. You're driving home, and just as you put the key to your house into your door, you get an email from your boss asking you to complete some work urgently. Now, there's a good chance you have a computer in your house, but you might not have the files you require, or more critically, the applications you need to complete that important work. It's late on Friday evening, and you're driving back to the office. We've all been there. We've all went back into work, or into work with the Well, at WorldDesk, we solve this problem. At WorldDesk, we free up your apps, your files, and your settings with this in a container, which is fully portable, allowing you to access your full desktop experience wherever you want. Let me tell you about Friday in my office. I'm working on my computer. I might install a new application, which is critical for a project. I'll certainly create some files, and I might make some setting changes. I might add a new shortcut or add a new favorite. As I'm driving home on Friday, my full desktop experience is syncing up with clouds. By the time I get home, I have a unique desktop experience, an identical desktop experience. If I get an email as I'm walking into my house asking me to complete some quick work, I go to my computer.
Go a little louder.
Was this louder?
Yeah, perfect.
As I get home, my exact computer is waiting for me, and I complete the work. Let me tell you a little bit more about WorldDesk. Don't take my word for it. We have a download available at www.myworlddesk.com. In just 6 months, we have almost a third of the countries in the world someone has downloaded WorldDesk. And if you watch the Olympic opening ceremony, you'll know that's a lot of countries. So I'll leave you with it. WorldDesk lets you take your apps, your files, and your sites and access it from your device. With WorldDesk, you can take your world with you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I'm a little confused. Are you a little confused?
I'm a little confused. I'll tell you.
What do you think this is?
I want to like this idea a lot.
Me too.
Because I think there's something really cool here that things like Go to My PC don't do, and it sounds like it's Go to My PC optimized for your mobile phone, mixed in with data from your apps. And I really want to like this a lot, but I don't totally get it, even after the two use cases.
Right. And the use cases to me sounded like
you left your
Dropbox,
files.
right? Like, so I have Dropbox or a portable desktop or Go to My PC or, Citrix or VMware. Like,
can we try a third time on the example?
Can you, just explain to us how is this different than Dropbox and Go to My PC?
Dropbox syncs your files, and in fact, you can use Dropbox with WorldDesk. I place WorldDesk in Dropbox. It's not just my files that sync, but also my applications and my settings. So if I install a new application on one machine, it syncs in Dropbox, and the application appears on the other machine.
What do you mean by an application? Like an iPhone app?
Well, I think they mean like VLC Player or TweetDeck or Angry Birds or any of that stuff.
So if you have a desktop and a laptop with WorldDesk and Dropbox, you can have an identical experience with both devices. Not just your files, which is what Dropbox does, but also
So it shares files and applications.
Yes, because if you think about it today, if you install an application on your computer, it is linked to that operating system in that computer, not something that you can carry around with you. WorldDesk, you can carry that, you can put that application on a USB stick.
Got it.
Plug it into a machine, it doesn't have to.
So if I take the USB drive with my copy of Microsoft Word on it and my Word documents from my Mac over to a PC, would that work? Or does that have to be the same operating system?
Today, we focused on the Microsoft operating system. We're startups, so we have to focus on the biggest market. But we aren't reliant on a particular operating system, so it's in our pipeline that we can plug into any device processor and bring it to your desktop. But as it stands today, it has to be the same Microsoft operating system.
Okay. And if I have 100 different apps, how does that all fit on a little thumb drive, or does it?
Well, you can get thumb drives up to 128 gig these days. Alternatively, it doesn't have to be a thumb drive. It could be a cloud storage solution like Dropbox and allow you to do syncing. With WorldDesk, you can pick how you want to deliver your desktop.
Oh,
Got
it is actually a thumb drive? I didn't realize
it could be a thumb drive, or it could be any place. So I think what they're saying is they're the software to take your Windows install. Let's say you have Windows on your ThinkPad, and it copies all that up to the cloud. Then you go to any desktop
I think he's trying
and it
to
loads
explain.
it. No, but I want to try to explain it.
Okay.
Then if you loaded your whole ThinkPad up to the cloud, and if you use my Windows computer, you could just download your entire setup.
Is that
right?
Do you want the job with WorldDesk? That was a very good explanation.
Okay.
Oh, you got the job.
So there you go. So I basically made my desktop portable, but with software to do that all for me.
Got it.
And then if I'm on a Windows computer, none of that stuff comes down onto the Windows computer. It's all still in the cloud.
It comes down on, similar to Dropbox, they store the files in the cloud, but also on your local machines. So it's a similar process to that. And that allows us to do
And you either take this physical file or you transfer it somehow. Got it.
Yeah, but the thing about this is they're agnostic to what data source you use.
What would you say are the 3 or 4 main use cases of applications, not files, not a document that you could use Go to My PC or something for? What's an application that you think people are going to need to transfer between machines?
Well, it depends what sector you're talking about. For end users, we find people like to carry not just their music around, but also their iTunes around. So they can plug it into the computer and bring up their iTunes with their playlist, with their music. That's one example. In terms of, we have a lot of business customers who like the feature because it allows people to use applications which would be very specific to their
God, I would have just focused on that. If you just said, what we do is
iTunes.
allow people to share their iTunes across multiple different machines, you would have had me. You would have had me at
and
hello.
their bookmark list and their documents. You use those things. But now let me ask you a technical question. If I bought a, $600 piece of software for my desktop at work, and then I can run it at home, I'm running a virtual instance of my office, so I don't have to pay the $600 again?
That's exactly right. And it's not a virtualized version of the application. We virtualize calls. So it's an exact copy of that application, but we make it look like it's reading off the same machine.
So you trick it into thinking it's on the same machine.
Is that legal?
Exactly.
Seems highly illegal or highly gray.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like a little gray.
I've got some good news there. I've actually got a degree in law and a master's in law, and most of these softwares have end-user agreements, and the end user remains the same, so it's not illegal.
Okay, so the end user agreement is one
Look
user
at that.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
Look at that.
Okay, so I give I'm going to give the pitch like a 7. It was confusing, and I'm going to give the idea an 8.5. What do you give it?
That's exact. Well, I'm going to give the pitch a 7, and I think this is an idea that I might give a 9 or a 10 to, but since you lost me a little bit on the explanation, I got to give the idea an 8.
Okay, so yeah, you may, if the pitch was done better with more specific examples.
Yeah.
And it feels like I'm looking at the website and the branding and everything.
And by the way, the fact that Jason and I are asking all these questions into it afterwards is a good sign. It means, hey, there's something really interesting here.
Yeah.
But you never as the CEO of a company want to tell somebody else, hey, that was the perfect pitch. Can I hire you to come?
It's kind of
for
your
our
job,
company?
to get to the perfect pitch.
That's what you want to nail down the first time.
Yeah. I think that you need to simplify your branding and work on your branding and who this product is for. Because right now I'm looking at the website and there's so much going on here that it's very confusing. And I think you need to just think of it and do a little sort of channel Steve Jobs and say, okay, let's make the product for one use case, for one person, and really make the website speak to that.
Mm-hmm.
This is for small businesses. This is for large businesses, whatever it is. And just really build the brand around one of those use cases. And the other use case, let's say you make it for big companies. The small companies, people who are individuals can go test it out. But Dropbox was for individuals. And then buried on their site was the upsell for corporations. Box.com was for corporations. And buried on their site was, you could use it individually.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but Jonathan, I got this feeling, whether it's this business or next, that you're going to be crazy successful, really. I have a feeling that you're going to just, be a Uber bajillionaire with products that help lots of people.
Why
just
is that?
keep doing what you're doing.
What was the clue in there? What was the clue in his pitch or his demeanor?
I think the combination of there's this law background, but he's really technical oriented. He's giving these examples. He's trying to solve this thing. I just like how that all pieced together, and it looks like you're 16 to me. Mm-hmm. So you're like the Doogie Howser of law school.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
31. 31. You look like you're 21. All right. So now comes the fun part. Okay, we're at 1 hour in. We got to do this real quick.
How impressive were all these companies
big round
and
of
pitches?
applause for both both cities.
We got to give something. What are we going to give these folks? We got to give them something, right?
We're giving them a 10-year subscription to Docstoc.
I'll tell you what. No, really. All of you guys email me, Jason at Docstoc, and we're going to set all of you up with lifetime memberships to Docstoc Premium.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's very generous. And an iPad to use it on. That's very generous of you. It's only $3.
Do you want to split it? I'll split an iPad for the winner with you.
No. We have to have. We're going to have a prize for the winner of all the cities.
Okay.
It'll be bigger than an iPad.
All the cities?
All the cities.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll split the iPad with you for that.
Yeah, okay, fine. That's fine. That's done. The winner of all the cities gets an iPad 3, courtesy of Nazar and myself. Okay, now you have to pick your two favorites.
Ooh,
I'm going to pick my two favorites. So pick your two favorites, and don't let your previous scores influence them because you gave scores without seeing the full body of work. So look through and think about which one you would most want to invest in, which one you would most want to be CEO of, whatever determination, which ones you thought did the best job. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 dun. Da, 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 da. And also put your third. Da, 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 da. I liked all of them. It's hard to decide. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. You have 1, 2, and 3?
Yep.
Tell me your number 1.
My number 1.
Oh, no, tell me your number 3. You got to go backwards. Build up.
So I'm going to say this one preface. I have a feeling that the ones that I didn't pick may end up being the biggest businesses.
Of course.
It's just that within the minute context and how they were presented, I don't know enough to say.
Yep.
But my number 3 is GetHealth.
Same as mine. Congratulations to GetHealth. Okay. And your number 2?
My number 2 is Soundwave.
Okay, very good. And your number 1?
My number 1 is Riffstation.
Okay, there you go. And you picked Riff, Soundwave, and GetHealth, all from Dublin. A clean sweep for you. My number 3 was GetHealth. My number 2 was Yoobikit, after we heard the explanation of like going into schools and getting paid customers. And then Riff number 1, which means if you take number 1, first and second place, which is how we'll score it, or even if you take the third place, it's Dublin, 3 of the 4, and Belfast, 1 of the 4. Congratulations to everybody in Dublin. Let's go to Dublin. All right, where's our representative from Dublin? There he is. Okay, so congratulations. And where are you guys hosting today?
We are hosting it at the Vera Telefonica O2 building, and they're our sponsors of this event. And it's an accelerator that's just set up in Dublin.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you to them for hosting. That was very nice of them, and congratulations to the winners there. Let's go to anybody else we need to give a plug to in Dublin? Any other sponsors we should give a plug to, you think?
And it's hosted by 1,000 Seeds. That's whom I work with Mary Cronin. And,
okay.
We are running the event.
So thanks to our friends at 1,000 Seeds, and congratulations there. Let's go to Belfast. All right, let's hear it for Belfast. Great job. Great job, everybody. Diane, anybody we need to thank there in Belfast for hosting today or sponsoring?
Yeah, we'd like to thank Northern Ireland Science Park here for hosting us this evening, and to Tunes, one of the leading law practices here in Northern Ireland, who provided our dinner for us. And finally, Investa and I, who've always been a great economic development agency, have been a great supporter of startup community.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. You guys did a great job. All the companies were very deserving. I'm very impressed. Celtic Tiger is strong. Very strong.
It's amazing, really. I'm so impressed with all the 6 companies. You're all going to be
It's interesting. Like the 6 companies here
successful.
could have been companies, I'd say the top 2 could have easily been at the launch conference or Disrupt. Yes. And then the other ones, I think, were probably Disrupt or Launch or TechCrunch 50 maybe 2 years ago in terms of their development. So they may not have made it in just yet, but with another 6 months of hard work and effort, they would actually make it in. So these are the top 2 are competitive with United States companies.
Absolutely.
Absolutely competitive.
Absolutely competitive.
And the other 4, just a little more work, maybe a little more fit and finish polish.
Yeah.
If there was one thing you think everybody should work on, what would it be? On a product basis.
On the product basis, on the product basis is, again, if you're building an application that's meant to go viral and get to tons of people, there has to be some killer feature or a viral loop. And it's not just enough to say, hey, we're going to have all these additional features, but really talk to and nail it. And you're going to go through multiple iterations. You're going to try 5, 10, 15, 20 of those things before it works, but there'll be one thing, one spark, and you may get to it by accident. Just like Twitter got to a lot of their early success, kind of by accident.
Yeah.
And the 140 characters that they allowed was because, cell phones.
Limits.
Yeah, SMS limits. And that was part of the whole magic of what made it work. Just focus on that thing that you're obsessive about, that you have a thesis that you think people will take to, and let your users tell you if it works or not, and go through multiples of those iterations, and it will break out.
I think that's sound advice, definitely focusing on a killer feature. And I would say investing in design never hurts. So keep iterating on the design front. This is a continuing theme. Design here in the United States is really hitting a high watermark with people really focused on that. Yeah. And Behance.net and other places to find great designers. You can find these places to just sort of navigate, see the best stuff out there. Subtle, Medium, and App.net, very clean designs. The design benchmark is getting higher and higher, and so all the companies here could put 25% more effort into design and see 100% greater return. So that's where I would focus a little bit of energy.
That's a great point, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Squarespace. Thank you so much to MailChimp. And thank you, most of all, Jason Nazar, for helping me out. Great job. It's one thing you know, it's startups and pitching.
I learned from the master, J-Cal.
Everybody, yeah, right. And that master would be Tyler. Thank you, and everybody check out at Docstoc.
Is Tyler going to come back with like a bride? Is that, or are we making a bet on this right now?
Absolutely. I think it's a lock. I think he's coming back with, he's right
coming
now,
back with future Mrs. Crowley.
I think so. I mean, did you see the photo?
I saw the photo.
I mean, I saw a photo. I was like, wow. Is that Mrs. Like, that looks like the winner of the Miss. Is it Sweden or Switzerland?
Well, I mean, Tyler's the complete package, right?
Tyler is.
Tyler's.
But I mean, it's like Miss. I think he's going to marry Miss Sweden. I think that's like Miss Sweden 2009 or something. She is gorgeous. Hey, anyway, Tyler, we miss you. Come back soon. And everybody sign up for Docstoc, $20 a month, all the docs you can drink, eat. Right? $20 a month, is it?
Yeah.
How do you do it for such a small fee? It's like so much great stuff.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thousands of dollars for $20 a month. Every startup should do that. Hey, we'll see you next time on This Week in Startups.